Welcome back to the Untouchaballs podcast. Caden and Evan here, bringing you another MLB episode. Evan, how are we doing today?
I'm doing great, Caden. How about yourself?
Not too shabby myself, because we just saw the opening weekend of this year's 2025 MLB season. We saw a lot of crazy stuff on the field, good and bad. We see some big things happen outside of just on-field production so far to start this season. So we're going to kick it off with a player who's involved in the biggest trade of the offseason, a budding ace, a budding superstar, some might say. Garrett Crochet and the Boston Red Sox have agreed on a 6-year, $170 million extension.
Huge move for the Red Sox. Being only 25 years old, it takes him up to his age 31 season. I think, he should have been. I can't believe, we're just talking about off pod how he didn't have any Cy Young votes last year. Crazy. But, this guy, he's one of the favorites to win it this year. I think this is a great move. We've raved about the Red Sox all year round, and, another great move for the Red Sox. And I already heard them talking about possibly extending Christian Campbell too. This Red Sox team's doing it right now.
They are 100% doing it right now with a lot of these moves they made this past offseason, a lot of what they're doing with their prospects. And yeah, getting this Crochet extension done, where we saw him really break out last year with the White Sox, and then he comes in, added that sinker as well. That's even added more to his repertoire, and he's still one of the hardest throwing starters in the league. Not only one of the hardest throwing left-handed starters in the league, and he's dominant. Looks like he could be dominant for a while. Like Evan said, he's only 25. He's set to be a free agent in 2026. So you're buying out these last 2 years, kind of his control time. But then you get him for another 4 after that, where we've seen teams try to struggle to re-sign some of their best players the year before a possible walk here, where they think if they really break out, they could get an even bigger payday. So to get it done now, I think is a great move by the Red Sox and Crochet.
Oh yeah, especially 6 years too, man. I feel like that's such a team friendly deal. Give these pitchers, they get 8+ years. It's scary, especially for pitchers. It's just so scary, and it's just such a great day to be a Red Sox fan.
It'd be nice to be a Red Sox fan right now and not I don't know, Chicago White Sox or Colorado Rockies fan.
Hey, don't hate on the White Sox, dude. Best pitching rotation in the league right now.
Hey, Kyle Freeland threw 6 shutty on opening day.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
Speaking of the Red Sox, about last podcast, we talked about players we didn't like. The downside of the Red Sox, a guy named Rafael Devers. Where are you, Mr. Devers? Because I don't know where you're at. Because, man, I told you, Caden, something about players switching over to being a DH. Something about it. It's different, It's like pinch hitting all the time. And pinch hitting sucks. If you've ever hit and been a pinch hitter, it sucks. And it's showing Rafael Devers clearly not comfortable in the DH position so far throughout the year. And, what do you do? What do you do if you just have to play him? Sitting him's not going to help him, What do you do?
Yeah, it's been a very brutal start to the season for Rafael Devers, and I think that's even putting it a little nicely. He, in his stretch where he's 0 for 19 to start the year, he's also barely even made contact with the ball, so good to see striking out about 2/3 rate. Just looking great, and to your point of how do you may try to fix it, I don't know really what you can do unless you, for some reason, would want to bench a Christian Campbell, try to slide Bregman over to second, where I don't think you want that. You want it to where Devers becomes your DH. You need them to find a way to acclimate and get adjusted to being just a DH now and not being able to take his focus away in the field. Now you're 100% got to be focused on hitting. We need you out there mashing.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you just gotta let him go through it. You gotta let him try and learn, like figure it out. I mean, yeah, like you said, like I was watching the game the other day, and he like fouled off a pitch, just laid his hell on it, you know. And the announcer was like, "Oh, that was the best ball he hit all series." It's like, jeez, like it's insane, like I mean, like we know obviously he's an established hitter in the major leagues. Like we know he didn't forget how to hit. He is looking a little big. He is looking a little big, but he's always been a big guy. He's just late right now, and I think he'll figure it out. But definitely some growing pains for him.
100%. We need to see him improve, figure out, I guess, yeah, really just how he can adjust to being just strictly a hitter, and that's it. And us as big Red Sox believers definitely need Rafael Devers to figure it out and remember that he hits 30 home runs a year.
Yeah, yeah. Now, Kate, I want to ask you about one of the pitchers that on opening day had a monster performance, and whether you believe in it or not. Do you believe in the Mackenzie Gore hype? This 13 strikeout performance? Like, do you think this is the breakout year of Mackenzie Gore?
That's interesting because I've seen stuff I've liked with Mackenzie Gore. I thought last year he took a good step forward. Looked like we saw improvements from what we was previously one of these top pitching prospects in baseball, where now we're seeing him kind of evolve into a more complete starter, where he still gives up. It seems like a lot of hard contact, but something like that on opening where you can get like he has the strikeout potential, where he has that 13K game. Like if you have that potential, you're gonna like you have the stuff. Now it just needs to be located not in the sweet spots of the hitters.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like you said, like last year he took a big step forward. I think his biggest thing is consistency. Like I think a guy like that, like he's got to just be able to prove it time and time, and it's going to be tough in that division. Um, but didn't really walk. I don't think he walked anybody. I believe maybe one walk, maybe I don't even know, but um, definitely, yeah. Like if you're able to strike out 13 guys, like you got some nasty stuff. Which obviously everyone's known with Mackenzie Gore already since he was a top pitching prospect. But it was very shocking to see that, though. I did not expect that. I don't think anybody really expected to see that
Oh,
opening
no.
day.
Yeah, I don't think anyone expected a Mackenzie Gore opening day masterclass by any means. I don't think anyone also expected to see about 12, 13 years into his major league career, finally breaks out, has an insane season, signs a 3-year, $42 million free agency deal with the Atlanta Braves, gets drafted onto Evan Dwyer's fantasy team. Jurickson Profar, 80-game suspension for PEDs. Dwyer, how you feeling right now?
I'm hurting, Caden. I'm hurting. I am happy. I picked up Victor Scott, which I am high on, but it did hurt because that was I drafted him pretty highly. I like Profar on the Braves lineup, and like I kept reading about him all off season, saying like, "Oh yeah, Profar, like his numbers back up last year's like big spike in numbers, like oh like his expected numbers were all good and all that, and like they could see it coming through." And yeah, that's true, but with a little help of some PEDs helps, I mean, like, still am I like, oh, is Profar screwed when he comes back? Like, I don't know. I don't say that yet, but like, obviously, huge bummer for the Braves, especially the Braves in all this. Like it literally it's week one. Like they just signed the guy, and this happens. I mean, the first thing I thought too was like, thank God for that Verdugo signing. Like that was a nice little
Oh
pickup.
yeah.
Like that really helps them because they needed that depth. Um, but I mean, like it makes sense. I mean, it makes sense why, like, oh yeah, like it makes sense why he was such a great player last year, an all star. So, yeah, it just sucks.
Oh yeah, no. So let's speaking of that, let's go through his WAR by season in the bigs. And his this would be his excluding this year. So 2012 negative point 0.2, then points 1, points 3, a flat 0. 1.5. Flat zero again. One and a half. Another zero. 2.9. And then negative 1.2. And then all of a sudden in 2024, 3.5 WAR, 3.6, All Star, 24 home runs, 29 doubles, a career high 135 OPS plus a career high 839 OPS. Something finished 14th in MVP voting. Something seems a little different here than the other great successful
Yeah.
seasons of the career of Jurickson Profar.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're definitely right. I think Profar, he's taking whatever Tatis was taking. They got the same guy. They must have the same guy. But it makes sense why he only hits when he's on the Padres. But yeah, man. I mean, that was shocking. I did not see it. Seeing that one, I was in the middle of eating dinner, and I was like, "Ah, this sucks."
Yeah, no, it's funny. So I'm driving to school. I get that passing notification. I'm like, oh, really, Profar? I'm like, yeah, I get it. Makes sense last year. Right after that, I'm like, text from you. You're like, you got to be kidding. Like, yeah, I feel bad for Dwyer there.
Yeah, yeah, man. It kind of like stole the headlines of the week. Like, I mean, of yesterday. Like everyone's just like they're talking
Hmm.
about it. It's, dude, Braves have not had a good start to the year.
Yeah, they are 0-5. They have not won a game yet this season.
Lineup is not hitting. Obviously, they don't have Acuna, but it just lost Profar for. I think they lose
Hmm.
postseason too, right? 80 games in the postseason, so it's like, dang, like that's a lot. I did take the under.
Postseason.
I did take it. They lose like he can't be in the postseason. He can't play in the postseason. Pretty sure. Like he loses 80 games and he's not eligible for the postseason this year.
Why would he not be eligible for postseason?
It's
Is
part of
that
the
a thing?
suspension. I'm fairly confident.
Really?
Look it up, but yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Interesting. I did not see that.
But no, yeah. So yeah, Braves. I mean, I know that they got a series of Dodgers tonight starting. Chris Sale's going on the bump. Um,
Started last night.
did it start last? Oh, sorry.
It did.
Sale's pitching tonight. Um, and we'll see if they get their first one of the year. But yeah, definitely not the ideal start the Atlanta Braves were looking for.
Not at all. Another big storyline, though, of this opening weekend was the New York Yankees, as they just couldn't stop hitting home runs. And in that discussion was also the torpedo bats they were trying out. What are your thoughts on the good old torpedo bats there, Dwyer?
I actually talked about this for one of my classes. Um,
Oh, nice.
I think the torpedo bats like it's getting too much. Like people are like, oh, like this is like cheating. Like the barrel is the same. Like it's just more of a mental thing for hitters. You know what I mean? Like the barrel isn't any bigger than before. The ball isn't going any farther than before. It's instead of like, the barrel's just smaller, so you just gotta like think with your brain, like, oh, I gotta like get to the sweet spot, like more precise. So I do think people are kind of like overreacting about it. Um, I think it was a genius idea, whoever came up with it. Um, Genius idea. Like this is good. These things are gonna sell like crazy. This is what I was talking about in my class. I'm like, dude, like, supply and demand, dude. Torpedo bats are gonna go through the roof now. But yeah, the Yankees, man. Yankees are really doing good by the torpedo bats. Cause what they had 9 bombs that one day. Um,
Yeah.
they just
Scored
haven't
20
stopped.
runs.
They have not stopped hitting. You'd think losing the best hitter in baseball, Juan Soto, you'd think, oh, this team's gonna fall off a little bit. Nope. We're gonna just hit, and we're not gonna stop hitting. And it is. I like seeing it. I do like seeing runs.
Yeah, the torpedo bats, it's interesting. It's new. Definitely whoever was able to come up with it, some sort of very smart, genius type person who understands all sort of that science. But also Aaron Judge coming off his second MVP in 3 years, another 58 bombs last year. He's already has 4 home runs through 11 at bats, and he doesn't even use the torpedo bat. He just doesn't stop hitting until it reaches October.
Yeah. And last year he started off cold too. Remember, he was cold through like the month of April, and then
And then you got him in a stupid little trade in, because of how bad Judge started.
yeah, that's why what winners do, Caden. What can I say? Uh, but no, yeah. I mean, Yankees are looking like clear favorites in that AL East division right now. I mean, if you were to say power rankings, obviously, the almighty, the Dodgers are obviously number one on that list, but you'd have to say that the Yankees are probably two, right? I mean, who else would you put? Maybe the Padres, maybe. I mean, I don't know, but great start for the Yankees this year.
Yeah, it's a lot more offense than we saw. I mean, every one of these Yankees Brewers games were high scoring affairs, except I guess for opening day. But then we saw eight. They put up 20 runs in one of their first games of the season. 9 home runs in that game. Like they are starting off firing hot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think who they got right now. Who they got? I believe they have. I'm looking right now. Sorry. Somebody. I mean, whatever. I would
Diamondbacks.
want to play them. I would want to play them. Put it that way.
The Diamondbacks are playing them right now.
Ooh, that's a good. That's a good matchup. That's a good matchup.
Yeah.
The Diamondbacks look good too, man. That Naylor edition's looking really nice, especially considering
Oh,
what
it's
they gave up for him. Did they
Corbin
give
Burns
Naylor
on the
an
mound for the
extension?
D-backs.
Did Naylor get an extension or no? If he didn't get an extension, I think I would try and look to lock him up. But I mean, talk about the teams that look good this year, like so far to start up off the gates. Like, there's
He has no extension.
no extension. No, I think he'll
No.
get. I think they'll line one up for him. He fits there. But I mean, yeah, a lot of winners this so far early in the year. You love seeing it is crazy seeing the Dodgers just win every game. It is pretty fun seeing that.
They are the best team in baseball.
That's not that crazy to say, but
No.
it's
Their,
just
their, their lineup, their entire roster, everything's insane.
yeah, and and it's unfair. It really is unfair. Um, I mean, considering how good, like, yeah, the Padres coming off super hot off the Braves, and then you see the Diamondbacks, and you're like, oh, well, like, you guys are even close to the number one guys. Like, I feel like on this podcast, we can't even say the Dodgers. They're just like the team we don't say their name.
They're just gonna keep winning day in, day out. That's gonna be too interesting with them, except when they hit like 12 home runs in a game because everyone on their team's an all-star. And yeah, there's not gonna be a need to talk about them too much because all they're just gonna do is win games. And I
Yeah.
just wait till the Rockies pull off a single dub against them. It'll feel good.
Yeah. You'll be busy. You'll be like in class or something while that's happening. Um,
Probably.
right now, if you're making a prediction, you think the Dodgers beat the record, the Mariners record?
I hope there's at least some will and some want in that clubhouse to actually go for it.
Mm.
Because there'll probably come a point in August when they can have the record in reach, but they're also so good. They
Yeah.
love their best work. They don't be playing
Yeah.
all
Start.
that often anymore for the rest of the season. Make sure you're healthy for October. But if they just have a little, let's go for it, I could definitely see it happening.
It's funny how like overshadowed Clayton Kershaw is in his career. You know, like everyone's talking like when in the off season about like oh Verlander, oh Scherzer, and then like Clayton Kershaw's still the man. You know, like and he's just overlooked. He isn't even there. No one
Yeah.
cares. You know, it's nuts. One thing I do want to talk about not the Yankees, the Dodgers. Like bro, like Sasaki, like not looking as good as everyone thought he's going to be to start. Everyone thought he was going to come over and just be the man, Paul Skeens. You know, like not happening right now. Walking guys and all that. And then I don't know if you saw, but when he like went back to the dugout, he was like crying in the dugout. It's like, dude, like man, you're in the professionals. What are you doing? Why are you crying for? Like, start one of like or 2 starts he's made in his career. You know, he's definitely not as like well tuned. Like, I don't think there's any shot they send him down, but like it might do justice. It might help him. I don't know. You know, like it's definitely a question I bet like the Dodgers have thought about. You know, they did with that other guy, the Haesung Kim, I believe it is, the infielder.
Yeah.
I don't know how the options work with the Japanese players, but interesting start off for Roki. I can't lie.
Yeah, so I was actually, for some reason, because this our March Madness preview decided to take 3.5 hours to render. I was awake for the start of the Tokyo game, where Roki Sasaki was pitching for his MLB debut. I'm like, okay, I'm excited for this. I really want to see what he's got. I think he's going to be awesome. And he just doesn't throw strikes. He has a tendency to miss the strike zone a lot.
Hmm.
And then that started in Japan because I didn't see much about the one the other day against the Cubs, or not the Cubs, but against the Tigers. But it was in Japan. It seemed like he was overthrowing his fastball too much, spiking it in the dirt. That I don't know. Yeah, like you said, I don't know if you send him down. I say don't. I mean, he's got the stuff. You just gotta give him a little
Let me ask you
tweak.
this: at what point would you send him down? How much would he have? How long would he have to struggle for? How long's his leash?
April.
Okay, all right. I mean, yeah, it's if it's any other team, like you're like, okay, yeah, but it's the Dodgers. They have so many arms. I mean, like Dustin May hasn't thrown yet this year. You know, like the
Yeah.
guy's a beast. You know, like um, it is gonna be definitely an interesting storyline to start the year. Not the lock for rookie of the year everyone was expecting. You know, to start the in the off season. You know, like oh he's gonna win it for sure. You know,
He's still my favorite, but
yeah, but like what I mean. Yeah, Christian Campbell. I mean, that's different division, but
different league.
Christian Campbell's looking like the man, though.
Christian Campbell's looking nice. Another reason we like the Red Sox.
For sure, for sure.
You got anything else for us today, Dwyer?
Uh, no. I just hopefully this time next week, the White Sox will just continue to just win because we love ourselves the White Sox. Um,
I love myself the White Sox as long as they can get more wins than the Marlins this year.
yeah. Marlins, they were at the top of the NL East after the first series, not looking too good,
The Pirates just kept choking games.
dude. That that would be it would almost be worse to be a Pirates fan because like you have hope, but they're just
Oh
not
my
gonna
God.
do anything with
You
it.
have such a good pitching staff, but nothing else.
Thomas Harrington is
The
though.
Mariners, at least Julio, or at least the Mariners have Julio and Raleigh. What would you
Yeah,
say about Harrington?
he makes his debut tonight. He's pitching tonight.
Ooh, I'm gonna make sure to watch that if I can during
Yeah.
school.
They play at 6 my time against the Rays, but um,
I'll be able to watch some of that.
there you go. No, yeah. So I can't believe. Yeah, I mean that bullpen. You lose every single game. I mean they're a mess, man. It's sad. But like yeah, I mean the Marlins to win their first series of the year is pretty funny. I liked seeing that, but
I did not like seeing that.
oh well, you got money on it, but pretty funny stuff.
Hey, yeah. Next week, we'll be talking more about what we've been seeing in baseball, some of the best performances. Maybe we'll get into a little bit of fantasy stuff, talk about maybe some sleeper players that we think could be good little fantasy pickups. Thank you all for listening to today's episode of the Untouchaballs podcast. If you enjoyed, leave a like, leave a comment about other stuff you've been seeing in these games. You agree with any or disagree with any of the takes we made in today's episode. Make sure you turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload of the Untouchables podcast and share this with your friends, family, strangers, neighbors, anything like that. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you all next time.
Peace.